questions do you have specifically about the project that I can help with?
So I mean, I do everything that I'm writing down everything and try to like do all the cost control and calculating and everything. I don't want to do all that. It's just I just put in the stuff in like when it comes down and like to get it like to calculate it right or something.
Yeah. Okay. So for the once you've calculated different ingredients, you're going to put it here onto the
I'm going off of the same one that's given us that
right.
same format, right?
Yeah.
So I think the one that I'm getting confused on is the one that you gave us. It has different links, right? Like on there, that one thing. Like if you open it up and you say, make sure you use this one for this
Right.
certain ingredients, and then use this one for this certain ingredients.
Right.
So once I open up that link, it takes me to that specific link. Am I using that specific ingredient?
So you're talking about when on the semester project notes that there's a link that's provided. Yeah. So the link that's provided typically is going to be something that is going to help you with the calculations. It's basically like my citation of, so right above the link or right including with the link, there's going to be some kind of explanation. So for example, I think the red onions on one of the recipes, the red onions, it says that each onion weighs on average 4.34 ounces. I don't know exactly sure that's what it is, but that's what the link is basically my reference. So that's where I got that information. Okay. So I've already given you the information from that link. So if there's a link in there, you're welcome to click on it and read through it, but I've already pulled the information that's important from that link. Yeah. In the notes page, yeah. Well, yeah, so that's going to help you. That's going to help you with a more so of like it's going to help you more so with the calculation portion. So if we have the AP to recipe, for example, and let's just say we're going to use the red onions. Okay, so because Canvas is down, I don't know the exact numbers, but so let's say that our as purchased is $2.50 per pound. Okay, and our recipe calls for 4 onions. Well, pounds and onions obviously don't match. And so in the semester project notes, I've given you some information that on average, let's say each onion weighs 3.2 ounces. Okay. So if one onion is 3.2 ounces, then if I multiply the 4 onions, then I get 12.8 ounces. Okay. And so now looking at this information, I can now easily convert pounds and ounces, right? Now, do I convert this one to the cost per ounce, or do I convert this one to 12.8 to pounds? Which one do you think? Okay, which one would be easier? Yeah. Right? So if I divide this by 16 ounces, so $2.50 divided by 16 ounces comes out to 0.156. And so I'm going to round that up to 16 cents per ounce. because this 16 ounces is a pound,
Okay.
right? So we're converting the cost for a pound down to the cost per ounce.
Okay.
Okay. Now we can multiply by the 12.8 ounces. So I got to clear out my calculator. I can't keep that in there. So 0.16 times 12.8. This gives me 2.048. So I would round that to $2.05. That would be my answer. Okay. So now this is my as purchased. Okay. This is my recipe unit cost. This is my recipe information. And then finally, this is my answer. Okay. So now let's look at it. Make a note real quick. Orange, green, blue, brown. Okay. So now let's look at it as this slide here, or as this page here. Okay. So if we go to the highlighter, orange, this is my purchase amount, my as purchased. Okay. So $2.50 per 1 pound. Okay. My recipe unit cost was green. Let me go back to the pen so it'll be easier to see. My recipe unit cost, that was my 16 cents per ounce. Okay. And then the amount needed was 4 onions equals 12.8 ounces. So for costing purposes, I want the 12.8 ounces. But for the menu recipe preparation, I don't want someone to have to weigh out 12.8 ounces. I was like, here's 4 ounces, here's 4 onions. Yeah. Right. And so go ahead and keep those numbers on there, because then this will still help you when you're going to give this to somebody to make the recipe. Okay. And now, because these units match ounces and ounces, now I can multiply straight across and get my ingredient costs of, what was it, $2.05. Okay. And so that's what I'm going to do for every single one of my ingredients. Okay. And then at the end, I'm going to add them all up. Okay. And that'll be my subtotal. And then the Q factor is 5% of the subtotal. So we're going to take the subtotal times 0.05, and that is equal to my Q factor. That's the Q factor. And then my total recipe cost is going to be my subtotal plus the Q factor. The subtotal plus the Q factor. The Q factor, And that Q factor is there. Let's say we want to add a little extra salt, a little extra pepper, right? That Q factor is going to be like $1 or $2. That's going to allow us to get some little leeway with some other ingredients, right? And then your portion cost is equal to the total cost divided by, in this case, 32 servings, because that's what every recipe is set to. So when you're doing your quizzes, you're going to have a question for every single ingredient item. And then the last 4 questions of every quiz is subtotal, Q factor, recipe cost, portion cost. Okay. So based on each individual recipe. Those are going to be your last 4. And then are you in my Tuesday or my Monday class? For cost control, are you in my Monday morning or my Tuesday afternoon? Okay, cool. So we'll go over tomorrow. We'll go over the what to do with this last piece of information to get the total cost. Yeah, so we'll go over that tomorrow in class. Okay. And you know that my class Mondays and Wednesdays is 8:10 to 9:25 a.m. So I teach the class on you're in my Tuesday, Thursday, 2 to 3 p.m., 2 to 3:15, right? But the Zoom link is the same. So if you like instead of logging into class on Tuesday, if you want to log in on Mondays at 8, yeah, if you want to log in on Mondays, that's fine. Yep. You just have to remind me so that way I can change your attendance, right? So, and if you miss, like, let's say you want to come in on Thursday, instead of coming on Thursday, just do Wednesday, Monday and Wednesday. Okay. So whatever I teach on Tuesday is what I teach on Monday. Whatever I teach on Thursday is what I teach on Wednesday. 8:10 a.m. to 9:25. Yeah. And the Zoom link for the class Zoom link is the exact same for both classes. So you can just log in, and when I'm doing attendance, just make sure that you let me know that you're in the other class, okay, my afternoon class. And that also too allows you to log in and ask questions as well, because starting Wednesday, or in Thursday in your case, but starting Wednesday between now and Thanksgiving, we're just doing project work days. And so you can log in on either time to have questions answered about ingredients. Okay, awesome. Good. Okay, sounds great.